Let's check out what's moving up this morning. Coming into 7:30 right now. I'm gonna look for stuff on scanners. WCC and APOP right now are the highest gappers. So technically, CLRBZ is the highest gapper, but this is the warrants of the stock CLRB. So um, usually warrants are more lightly traded. They're like a different class of stock. I don't exactly know what they're used for, but I usually just ignore these. I try to filter them out on my updated tickers script, but apparently this one is generally I would say they're worth trading. They usually go up in conjunction with the real name that's going up. So like if CLRB is going up, I would expect it potentially to go up. But CLRB is not going up today, so I don't really know that. IMMP come up a tiny bit here at 7:30, but nothing too crazy. Still fairly light volume. So we definitely want to see more volume coming in. Big trade. IMMP is one that I'm sure has come up several times in the past. Yeah, so back here it had a day where it popped up from $2 to $8, but pulled back a significant amount of the move by the end of the day. So not really a great sign there. A couple other big days. This big day back here was green, so it has the potential to hold the move. We'll see what it ends up doing today, but just from recent peaks, it didn't hold it. Something to keep in mind. What's going on, House? How are you? Really got too much going on at this point in the morning. Just gonna have to wait and see what comes. We'll get some stuff popping up on news. Nothing really going crazy at 7:30 though. I think IMM popped up a little bit, but it's not like it popped up my thing. It was just coming up a tiny bit. I don't think there's any news on IMMP right now, at least for today. So I don't really know why it's coming up at all. But it doesn't have to come up on news. Really take a trade on it. I would say sometimes when stuff comes up on news, I'm kind of or it comes up without news. I'm kind of hesitant to take a trade on it, but it would need to come up significant. I know back in December we had one. For the life of me, I can't remember what stock it was, but it went from like $3 to $35, and then they halted it because it was coming up on no news, and they wanted to see if there was any news from the company. And then when it resumed like 50% down. So you don't want to get caught in stuff like that. And then there was a similar thing last year, I guess, with like Luke and Coffee, I think it is, LK, where they were coming up on no news really, and then it turns out that the CEO was like under investigation for fraud or something. and they halted the stock for like 2 months, and then obviously it closed like down under $1. So just hear horror stories about getting caught and stuff like that, and just try to avoid that at all costs. Yeah, IMMP's really not putting in much volume here, so I don't know if we're gonna take a trade on that. APOP was also up today, but pulled back nearly in the entirety of its. So GameStop got wrecked yesterday. GameStop coming down to $112 aftermarket yesterday. I mean, today might be a day to look for a little bit of a bounce. See how it starts trending in the morning, but I can see it coming up a bit. Lost whatever $50 yesterday, even more than that from aftermarket the day before. Aftermarket the day before was up at 200, closed yesterday at 115. So might get a little bit of bounce. If not, then maybe we'll try to ride it on the way down. What else we got? So yeah, APOP is back a ton. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not looking too good this morning. Overall market coming down pretty significantly last 30 minutes. SPY was sitting close to 389. Now it's 386. Uh, yeah, I saw GIGM popped up earlier today, like around 7 o'clock or something. But I didn't take a trade on it. The problem is, it's like you look at this aftermarket chart, it's gonna move up to $8.33, and now it's sitting at $5. So the fact that it's pulled back so much of the move, just like it's really not a very good. Unless like more news comes out on this or something, like I really doubt that it's gonna reclaim those levels from yesterday. Be very very hard. It's got to fight through a lot of resistance now. Yeah, I mean I think IMMP is like the one to watch right now, but also it's not really doing too. Like we would need to see some definitely more volume coming into it. Just super light volume right now. Also, I mean IMMP 60 million share float stock, so even with volume, this thing isn't going to move too much. Pretty NOB popped up here. Deck. Really high volume red candle in 5 minute. Which is C. There was HWCC. No, HWCC actually. Problem is the volume just dropped off a cliff. Who's on there? Oh. Oh no, it's an acquisition. Yeah, so I'm surprised on acquisition news. It literally says like to be acquired for $5.30. Like I'm surprised that this didn't just immediately get pinned to $5.30. Maybe this was some kind of like weird, like algorithm or bot trading thing where they bought it up by accident, not knowing that the news was an acquisition. it's definitely not worth taking a trade on that. Pretty good premium they got in that acquisition though. 40%, not bad for them. An AP. Yeah, I mean IMMP definitely the one to watch. Just popped up to 385, so making a little bit of a new high. A little bit more volume coming into it. Handle, I mean, putting in over 100,000 shares of volume, which is good to see. Get this handle push back up. Right, looks good. Try to take some probably. I mean, it looks like it's grinding up, which is good to see. Oh, took 30 shares, 390. Looking for the push over $4. And if we drop too quick here, probably take them off. I was just looking for the quick pop over $4. One back a little. See if it holds up above 80. Down again. So drop below 80 now. Thing. I'll take off half. It seems like the dip got bought up a little bit. I'll hold here for a second for this support off of 372. Which it triple topped off of previously. So good if it gets that level. Now buying into 385. Looks good on the 1 minute. And yeah, holding above 372 is what we. A little bit over 30 seconds left on this candle. As we're talking here, another stock was popping up. Pretty light volume though on SFNT. So try to buy some shares coming up here. Got into this position a little high on IMMP. We'll see if it can hold up. We want this candle to stay above 380 definitely. Struggle a bit. A little bit of a false breakout in the 1 minute. SSNT, pulling back a little bit, so not really holding that move that it made. Let's see if we can get some volume back into it. Volume, kind of steep drop off. Coming down through. Take off half. Still holding above 372. Looking okay. It seems like it's getting bought up as it's coming down to that level, which is good. Line again coming to the high here. Holding above 390 would be great for this candle. Seems like we're slowly pushing up, making some new highs, but seems like it's countering a little bit of resistance coming into 390. 20 seconds left on this candle. Closing above 390 is ideal. It's struggling a little bit. Here we go. Now we're getting this move up. See if we could push over 4 here. Struggling near 4. So volume coming in better on this last 1 minute candle, which is good. Now that we've bounced off 4 a few times, I want to take some profit here if it doesn't look like we're going to get over. I'm going to take off half. Looks like we're struggling, coming back down a bit, down to 90. Definitely still the possibility this is going to push up through 4. But at least take the little profit we can there, just so we don't lose it. And it seems like it's still holding above 90, which is nice. In here, getting the push back up to 4. Break through 4. Looks like it's holding pretty well. Holding above 4 really nicely. Alright, so it looks like it's coming down to retest 4. See if it gets bought up off 4. The next candle is going to be interesting to watch. So if the next candle continues holding above 4, it seems like it's getting bought up as it comes down into 4. Ooh. Oh. So our candle just moved straight down to 392 or something like that, but then immediately got bought up. So it looks like people are buying this up pretty nice. So I'm gonna take more shares for this breakout here. Look on the daily chart if we have any levels of resistance that we should be looking at buying into or selling into. So recent levels of resistance, we got 450, big one. 50, and then after that, 525. As far as further back, I think that's like those are the big resistance you should be watching for. The 5 minute, we're pretty extended. So we'll see how these candles start holding up as we come closer, as we push above the highs. If we turn around, might take a little profit. The volume has been really, really nice. Highest volumes on green candles, the last 2 green candles. On the 1 minute now, we'd want it to hold above $3.99, $4. My cost basis is at $3.98 right now. On the 5 minute, I have to tolerate a little bit more pullback. New 5 minute candle starts in 10 seconds. So we'll see if this puts in, like another red move in this next candle. Might try to take off some shares. Like to see it move back up on this candle a bit. Down towards 4. Let's see how it holds up above 4. Immediately broke down to 398. Seems to be struggling to reclaim the $4 level. And now it's coming down on higher volume. Not good. Let's see if we can hold 90. Not hold 90. 90 was the one that we kind of need to hold here. So yeah, we're pushing down. I'm gonna take off half here. Let's see if we can bounce off VWAP though. I'll leave the other half to see if we can come back up. But you know this. Now we put in the highest volume candles a red candle. Quite unfortunate. And we're coming down through VWAP again. So have to sell off the rest. So our volume looked really good. Setup looked really good. So I was waiting for. I was holding for a move back up, but this thing just sold off completely. Just unfortunate move that it made to come back down. See if it turns around now. I mean, on the 1 minute, like buying up through VWAP, probably the idea. Fairly large red 1 minute candles though. I'd probably give this like one more opportunity, and if the one opportunity doesn't resolve well, then we'll start looking for something else. SSNT still holding up okay. But really one I'm super interested in trading in the way that it looks right now. Yeah, IMMP still just pushing down. Really quite an unfortunate move. And it was looking really strong. I don't know what happened here. Just one of those things. Sometimes that can look really strong, all the indicators could be great, and it just turns around on you. Yeah, as it was coming down here, so we came up and we tapped 419. As it was coming down here, I was thinking about taking off, half as we were coming back down through 410. But I gave it a second because I wanted to see what was going to happen with it, and then the next candle dropped from, looked like it was pushing back up through 410, which was looking good. Then it came down straight through 4, kind of held on to 4 for a second. I thought maybe it would get bought back up over it, and then it just dropped like a brick. Fortunate. So now put in a real big red 5 minute. If this turns around a little bit, like I said, I'll give this like one more opportunity on the buy up here, and then if it comes back down, reverses on us, then we'll start looking at a new trade. Now the buy up over 375. What we're looking at in the 1 minute. This would also be the start of a new 5 minute candle in the next 45 seconds. And if this 5 minute candle starts new and it drops, then it'll probably be a while before this thing comes up to be tradable again. We would need this next 5 minute candle to push up almost. And now on the 1 minute, the buy is going to be above 372. So 10 seconds, and we'll see how the next 5 minute candle starts. We want to see this push up quickly through 372. This is gonna have any strength at all. Sell off. At 366. Now as it comes up into 370, bought a few shares here as it pushed up to 370, but then it immediately flashed back down to 368. See if it pushes back up. Bought a few more shares. So this stop is going to be very, very tight because I don't want to go below 366. Getting a little bit of resolution on this 1 minute. So it held its breakout. Is 3 cent breakout, 372.75. But it did hold its breakout. Good. Now we'll look for this move through view up. So I think as it's coming into view up, it's a good place to watch. If it comes into view up and immediately bounces off of it, you know, probably take off the position we have. Because if this thing is going to be strong, it pretty much needs to break through view up right now. It had such a big sell-off that it needs to come back with strength quickly, or else people are just gonna think it's a lost cause. Slowly coming up into VWAP. VWAP sitting at 380 right now. Thing hit a high of 379 in this last candle. Happening as VWAP right now. See if this candle can bust up through it. Bounced off of it. Give it a second to see if it gets bought back up near it. Try to take off half on the ask, but like we're just selling straight into the ground. Above 366, nope, dropped 365, sell it off. So yeah, so obviously this is a terrible sign now. Thing just bounced off view up and went straight into the lows, and also broke the lows by like 1 cent. Like, yeah, doesn't look good. That's not what you want to see after a massive drop off. You know, the start of this next 5 minute candle now here is starting off with a huge wick on it. Not ideal. I would say that not going to be super interested in trading IMMP unless it's back up pretty significant. What time is it? Oh, all right. So we got a minute and 15 seconds coming into 8 o'clock. So maybe we'll get something coming up on news at 8 o'clock. So keep your eyes on the scanners. Check out oliveguardians.com. You can see everything that I trade comes from the scanners on oliveguardians.com. So if you want to follow along with me and see the stocks that I'm trading, check it out. Currently, the only thing I'm taking trades on today is IMMP, and I got wrecked by it. Down $10 on it right now. Took a few shots at it. We had to trade up through $4. I was looking for a little bit more of a move through this, and ended up holding back down past my cost basis, which realistically probably was not a good idea. I was hoping for a bounce off 390, since on the 1 minute chart, you know, we had room down to there. And then it just did not bounce. Absolutely tanked through it, as you can see on this red 1 minute candle. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you have a plan, you gotta stick to it. And I was Looking on the daily chart looked like IMMP didn't really have a lot of resistance up to 450. On the 1 minute, it looked like we could come down to 390. SPY is not looking good. I know SPY was selling off hard when I looked at it earlier. Oh man, yeah, SPY is taking a dump. Just hit 8. So let's watch for stuff popping up here. BKYI just popped up, but lighter volume. Not really doing too much at the moment. I was putting in monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Little green candle. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 red candles on the 5 minute. That's not a great sign. Keep IMMP just on watch, but I really doubt it's going to come up and make another move. BKYI seems to have popped up on, yes, this is earnings news coming into 8 o'clock. Popped up a tiny bit. What's up right now? Just above 25%. So now in the 1 minute, the buy over 445 is the place that we want to look at. So it's popped up, and now we have consolidation that's fully enclosed by the previous candles, which is a good sign. This is the kind of consolidation that you want to see. You don't want to see it spiking in one direction or the other. Now, if it comes up through 445, we want to watch it for a buy here. If it folds back down now below 415, then probably a lost cause. Oh, had a stock pop up 50%. So, clinical trial, collaboration with some other biotech company. This is coming up on news. It popped up 55% nearly immediately. That looks like pulling back right now. Also, BKYI, has dropped below this level now of 15, so don't love it. If we wanted to see a strong trend on this, we would have liked to have seen it come up above 445 immediately. The fact that it broke down through VWAP and also broke down through the previous consolidation wedge is not a good sign. Keep an eye on it just to see if it comes back up, but I don't expect anything too great coming from it. Volume coming into PIRS here. Definitely take a trade on it. I have a feeling that the overall market is affecting the low float market right now. But I mean, the past few days this week, the trading has been all right. Earlier this week, like Monday and Tuesday, like each day there was one really good stock to trade. So we'll hold out. Maybe something will pop up on news and people will jump on it. Looks like a lot of selling coming into PIRS, so I don't think we're going to end up taking a trade on that. We'll keep it on the watch list. But, it needs to, now that it's coming back down, this would need to come back up like above VWAP for us to want to take a trade on it. BKYI continuing that downward trend. The ordinary there. HWCC, yeah, that's the one with the acquisition, so price is not going to change on that. APOP has pulled back way too much, so it's not looking great. NOB also pulled back quite a bit. I would need this to come back above VWAP if I was going to think about taking a trade on it. IMMP coming back above VWAP right now, but see if it can hold these levels. The last time we came into VWAP, obviously we had a fairly large sell-off. So we'll see if we get this sell-off back down below VWAP right now, which what we're seeing as we're watching this. We'll see if it holds. PIRS coming back up above VWAP. See how the volume looks as this trades a little higher, coming into $4 perhaps. So it looks like a lot of buying coming into $4, but it's being held down below 390. So it looked like there was quite a large seller on 390 just holding it down. So it would need to break through that to make me want to buy, or at least prove that it has the volume to break through it. And now on PIRS, if we look on the 1 minute, the last few candles where it's like very high volume candle, huge wick, and then 2 candles of equally high volume, and both of them essentially didn't move the stock price. So I would say that the likelihood that we're going to get the volume to push up through $4 is fairly low. I would expect this to more sell off than push up at this point, especially because all of these candles have been holding below VWAP as well. Low. I'd be super surprised if it's selling. And IMMP, to the surprise of everyone, pushing up against all odds. So it sold down below VWAP, and then immediately got bought back up. So now put in this green candle with a pretty large tail, which is a indicator of strength. So get IMMP up over here. But now coming into these higher levels is time to be cautious, just because we saw the kind of sell-offs it can have coming into these levels. So I would be unwilling to buy for this break of 4, unless we put in like a little bit more consolidation, knowing that people are so willing to sell this hard coming into these levels. By far the highest volume candle of the day so far is on the largest red candle of the day, and the highest volume 5-minute candle is a red candle. Just all around not good. If it had turned around quickly and came in with this volume on the way back up, like it was getting bought up straight through VWAP, it'll be a little bit more confident. But we had the buying coming up, failed at VWAP, kind of consolidating on super light volume. Now it's pushing back up again, but it's also struggling to hold above $4. It broke $4 by a cent and then pulled back. It's getting bought pretty nicely. Say. I mean, it looks like real buying. It's not just like one person putting in a huge order. Sometimes you want that one person who is willing to prop the stock up. Nice when you're sitting, when it dips down, all of a sudden you see like a 50,000 share buyer sitting at some level. So pushing back up to 4 now. Wait to see what happens with this. So another pretty large tailed candle here. So although it's selling off, it's getting bought back up pretty well. Decreasing volume on this last candle. Yeah, it just seems to be having a really hard time coming up with before. So now it's essentially triple topped off $4 here. It came up and tapped 401, but essentially now on the one has tapped against 4 3 times. So that is the place to beat. I don't know if it's gonna push. Seems to be struggling. Also, this last time that it tapped 4, it did so on significantly lighter volume than the other 2 times. Yeah, I'd say just the way it's trading right now is not giving me confidence that this is going to come back up and make new. So the last time I pushed down to 390, then got bought up almost immediately. Now you can see that it pushed down to 390, and it was just sitting on 390. The fact that it was sitting on 390 and didn't get bought up like immediately like last time means people are less willing to buy these dips. So a little bit of an indicator that maybe buying is leaving it a tiny bit. It's still holding, now it's holding at 89, and we would have liked to have seen this get bought up if we thought we were going to have the strength to come back into 4. So this might have just been like a false break over VWAP at this point. Just come back down through it. We'll see if people are willing to buy it off of VWAP. Holding above 385 right now is pretty crucial, I'd say. Seeing as that's where the bottom of the last big green candle is, and it's really the last resistance point until we come down into VWAP. Really, that's where it wants to hold at the moment. And we see selling coming in. So tap 384, tap VWAP at 383, and sold through. So it's kind of expected. It really just didn't have the momentum to break over this $4 mark. And as we've seen before, previously on the 1 minute, came over 4, came up to 419, but just like the amount of selling coming down was so much more significant than the buying coming up. I think this is going to be the story of this stock for the day. Now that it's selling off, even more significantly, I don't know if this is going to be able to come back up and make new highs. And that 5 minute is just, small. Look at this. So looking good. Green, green, green. Huge red 5 minute candle. Tries to push up to the levels. Another massive red 5 minute candle. So not only do we have some of these. So now we have descending resistance. So it's obviously a negative indicator. High red volume on these candles, which is another negative indicator. Just in general, the moves that the red candles make are significantly bigger than the green candles. So just all around looking poor for IMMP at the moment. And for people who weren't in here before, when I was talking about it, CLRBZ, the highest gapper of the day. But CLRBZ is the warrants stock for the CLRB stock. So it's like a different class of stock. I'm unsure what it's used for, really. But usually it trades in tandem with the stock that, the underlying stock. But for some reason, CLRBZ is up 220% today, but CLRB is not up anything. So I mean, if the underlying stock isn't moving, I'm not trading the warrant stock. Usually, also the warrant stock significantly less volume than a normal stock. So I don't know what's going on with CLRB today, but I'm not going to take a trade on it. He may sit out today. Well, let's see why. Let's check out the SPY. Look at this, dude. My God. CSCW ended up good yesterday. I didn't take a trade on it. The one trade I took at the open, before I went to work, I shorted GameStop. Let's see. Oh yeah, CSCW actually ended up pretty good yesterday. Up real nice. His first move kind of got wrecked by here. Pretty pretty solid move up from this candle, like starting at 10 o'clock. It looks real nice. Yeah, the one trade I took yesterday, I 5 minutes. So pushed up. Yeah, so pushed up to like 167 here, and then as it was coming down, I shorted through 150 because 150 was like a pretty serious level. So I ended up making like $10 on the trade. I think I started shorting like as it came down through like 155, and then I sold off at like 145 or close to 145 as it was coming back up. Oh, on CSCW, that's when you bought. Unfortunately, I was at work yesterday, so I would have loved to have shorted GameStop down as it was coming down, but not available. So you said at around 1040. Yeah, that's a nice candle. And also, like, you love to see this where it's like it puts in this massive tail on the red candle, broke down through VWAP, held back above it, and then came up with really strong volume in the next couple candles. That's a good trade, definitely. Yeah, I think just like general market sentiment today is not spectacular because as you can see with the S&P, like this thing's putting in massive red move right now. So this might be why there is like this large amount of selling off happening in IMMP, even when it was looking fairly strong. So yeah, I mean, we might not see any super good opportunities today, but you never know. Something pops up on news and everyone jumps on it. So want to be here if that happens. Yeah, yeah, that's the problem with cash accounts. It's like such an issue where um, it's like you need to have like 25,000 in the account to get over like the EDT, or else all you can do like is make your whatever 3 trades in a 5-day period, which is like insane. That's such a small number of trades. Like I don't even understand why that rule exists. Or you have your cash account where it's like depending on how much cash you have, you can really only make like 3 trades in a 2 or 3 day period anyway. It's just so unfortunate. I thought that senators or some legislators were talking about potentially reducing the cash settlement time, where they said that trades should settle in a shorter period of time. Because like after the GameStop thing, I guess the reason why like Robinhood disabled the ability to trade GameStop was because I guess there was like a issues at like the clearinghouse where like so many people were buying GameStop stock that like and so many trades were unsettled that there was like a liquidity problem at Robinhood. Um, so I thought that they were saying that trades had to clear faster. I don't know how they're going to like enforce that or whatever, but it would be cool if they could do that. So people with cash accounts, like if trades had to always settle, next day, you could trade your entire account and then the next day be able to trade it again. So that would be cool. Definitely significantly help people with smaller accounts. Not really popping up right. Got too much to look. Things I want to see happen to. Uh, I want to see how GameStop acts in the beginning of the day. Because I mean, this thing definitely it dropped obviously a significant amount yesterday. Opened the day 160, closed at 119. So pretty significant drop. I want to see if this thing bounces at all, and if it does bounce, I want to try to catch some of the bounce. But if it starts selling off again, then I want to short it down through $100, because last time it was coming down, as it came down through $100, this thing pretty much just like beelined straight down to 50. So pretty good opportunity for a trade if a similar thing happens again. So back here. Had a few rough days here on GameStop back here. Let's remove. Yeah, so last time it kind of sat around 100 for a little while. The day that it dropped through 100, it went down to 70 bucks. But then it kind of sat around 100, and then that one day that it just decided to start going down again, it dropped from 100 and then closed the day at 45. So definitely opportunity there if we come back through 100. It doesn't look like there's a ton of resistance coming down through it. Like at like the very most, it looks like the last time we dropped through it, it pretty much came down to 70. So I would expect similar price action where if we come down through 100 and then we confirm the move down through 100, it's pretty free down to 70. So love to take a trade on that. Um, Alternatively, if we start bouncing and we move back up, maybe get like a bounce up closer to 150 or something, maybe into the 140s. So that's like the last level of resistance from yesterday is you know coming up into 141, 140, 143 in this area, and then we drop through it. So maybe we'll see a bounce up to there. And I'll take a trade on it, or I'll try to take a trade on it coming into those levels. So those are going to be things that I'm keeping an eye on today, just like crucial levels to be aware of. Stop. Because even though GameStop, I mean, obviously, it has fallen off a little bit in recent weeks. Like if you're playing it to the short side right now, it's still amazing opportunities, and it pulled back so hard yesterday. I would expect a little bit of a bounce coming into today. It might, end up going lower, but I'd like to see the bounce up and then catch that bounce. IMFP continuing to fall, kind of as expected. Hit this hard resistance. The other stuff we were looking at. So there was HWCC, but HWCC was an acquisition. So price is it's priced in right now. Can't really make any trades on that, even though it's now currently the highest gapper besides CLRBZ. And like I said before, CLRBZ, it's a warrant stock. It's supposed to trade with CLRB, but CLRB is nowhere to be seen on the scanners, so no idea why the warrants for it are going up. Since just one of those things. ENOB sideways, huge red volume on that one candle, so definitely not really. IMMP, yeah, still pulling back. I mean, this thing looks super dead. I don't know if this is going to come back up today. This might be one people are, trying to play short. Maybe go short on this. It seems to have folded over pretty significantly and doesn't really show any signs of stopping. Yeah, I just, like when the warrants are going up like that, it just makes no sense to me. Like it's supposed to trade with CLRB, but CLRB is, yeah, is not moving. So that's the thing where it's like, I think this went up just because I don't know, maybe people were buying this and then just like a whole bunch of bots piled on or something. because it's very strange price action for the underlying to not really move. If you look at CLRB, CLRB did pop up this morning, but has come back down to its original levels. So there's no reason for the warrants to be up as high as they are, and I would expect them to trend with CLRB. So at some point, come back down to their original levels in the near future. I think there's any. Yeah, there's no news on CLRB, so no idea why this spike happened. I assume this is just bot stuff. Or someone probably bought a sizable position on this, and then everyone just jumped on. What's going on, Tom? Going through the old watch list right now, but it seems P dead at the moment. Hopefully, 8:30 will bring renewed life to my watch list. As of right now, there's not even anything that I'm watching to make a trade on. Everything's just like super dead at the moment. If anyone's got ideas for stocks I can look at that's moving, I usually don't look at like higher float stocks, but I mean, don't really got anything going on at the moment, so might be a time to look at some stuff I don't usually look at. I haven't looked at in a while. Palantir. Palantir. Oof, man. So I guess they're just trending with the market right now. It's like literally put this and the SPY next to each other. Literally identical. Bam. Which one's which? I bet you can't tell. Yeah, so, God, it's actually crazy that Palantir is just like fallen so much. I feel like although it was a meme stock for a while, it always seemed like fundamentally like a good play to buy it and hold it. So I'm just shocked that it's the price isn't really holding up very well. Kind of weird. Maybe it'll come back up. On the daily chart. And mind got 2 minutes coming into 8:30. So 8:30, keep an eye on that watch list. Yeah, so on the daily, it came up to $45, and it's just struggling to hold up right now. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I would think like this buy now above like 27.50 would be like really great. Maybe even above $25. So if it starts coming back above $25. But probably seeing a bit of a sell off just because the market's being a little wonky right now. Right, 1 minute to 8:30. Let's just keep IMMP up just because that's not trading well right now, but it probably is the one with the highest chance of potentially making a comeback at the moment, since everything else that we're looking at has sold off so significantly from the highs. 30 seconds. Yeah, if nothing pops up at 8:30, I mean, not really a ton to watch at the moment. Just a fairly quiet morning. I assume that is in part due to the overall market just getting trashed right now. feel like I definitely missed a lot of opportunity here on MMP. It's just trading on such light volume. So we just hit 830. Had two things hit the scanner. So SINO, which I've seen pop up before. Share size down a bit. So SINO popped up and BIMI popped up. SINO looks like it's moving up a little bit faster than BIMI. So we'll keep an eye on it first, and we'll get BIMI up on the watching chart over here. So coming up through $9. So I'm gonna buy 10 shares here, looking for this push up, but seems to be turning around. I brought down my share size just so this did happen, wouldn't be too much of a loss. But it's struggling a little bit to push up right now. I'll sell off these shares. So only lost $1 on the way down at the moment. It looked like as it was pushing up to through 890 that we were going to get a little bit of a move. So bought coming up into it, sold off, fairly tight, upper 60s. Not much of a loss on that. If it had started pushing up towards 9 again, I probably would have bought more shares as it came up through. But just trying to get a piece of the move as it's going up, and didn't seem like it resolved as quickly as we wanted it to. So those are the kind of trades where if you do take shares high like this with the expectation of it moving through, I always take a little bit lighter of a position, and I'm much more quick to cut it. Just because, as we've seen recently with these lower float stocks, they'll pop up and then they'll move back 50% of their move, like it's doing right now, 15 seconds. So you have to be willing to cut the position if it doesn't make the move. And if there really was very strong momentum coming into the stock, as we bought coming up into 880, it would have blasted through this high immediately. There wouldn't have been any hesitation. So, decreasing volume on these pullbacks. We'll see if it's holding above VWAP. Right now, I would say the buy is going to be up through 855. I can also see the argument to buy coming through VWAP right now. But I would say that pushing up through VWAP wouldn't be weird, but you have no way of knowing if it's going to hold this level. And if it doesn't hold this level, it might just come straight back down. Pullback happening on lighter volume, which is good to see. So this looks like it could be making a little bit of a setup here for us. Let's see what the here. Acquisition of a blockchain infrastructure developer. Blockchain stuff. Could be like sympathy for like the NFT plays that have happened recently. So I mean, this could be good news to buy on if it actually makes a move up here. Let's check out the recent history of SINO. So yeah, it's had a few high days recently. On the daily, just even like last week, it had a peak of $11.44, and closed the day at $8. So definitely struggling to keep some of the moves that it makes. Just put in a 1-minute breakout, but then pulled back a significant amount of it. The buy over 820, probably the play there. See if it ends up holding this. Seems to be struggling to hold, but See if we can get some volume coming into it. I was hoping this last candle would be a higher volume candle. And then as it pushed up, we could have bought into it. A little bit of a pullback. I mean, this still can look all right. I don't doubt that this could push up. Let's see. Oh, 836. Yeah, so 836 is what it just bounced off of. 836 was the low of that previous day last week, and the high is 1150. Coming into 895. So quite a few bits of resistance coming up if it does push up, but it looks like it's pushing down further now. Yeah, we waited to take this trade over 820. Since we took our first shot, ideally this would have resolved here and pushed higher nearly immediately. After such a big pullback coming down below VWAP, as it pushed above 820, this is essentially, we knew that it was probably going to come down and retest VWAP since there wasn't a ton of volume coming into it, and then it looked like it failed this retest of VWAP. So SINO may be dead for the day. Your ticker popped up on the high of day scanner, but oh, it's because it's trading on. I was wondering why this popped up on the high of day scanner, but not on the moves. I mean, it has volume. I don't know if it's moved that much. I guess from the close. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why that's on the high of day. I don't think it's moved very much at all. So unfortunately, SINO, the one thing that popped up at 8:30, didn't really seem to give us anything. We can go back through some other stuff that we were looking at to see if anything else has started moving up at 8:30. But we got nothing popping up on the so BIMI, the other one that came up at 8:30 and just completely fell off. So I think the strategy in recent weeks has just been to short everything that pops up. To be honest with you, very few of the stocks that are popping up have been holding their moves. You just had another stock pop up on the scanner here. Higher priced stock. Lower volume. So we'll see what ends up happening with this. Another biotech company. Phase 1-2 trial. Intravenous something for some rare disease. So I don't know if that news is really gonna catch a lot of people. Look like it's like super significant for the general population. So I imagine this is gonna fall off too. Yeah, I mean shorts have definitely been ending up winning recently. um, but I mean the like on Monday and Tuesday this week we had a few good stocks that were very long biased. People were buying into pretty significantly. Um, I would say the vast majority of the stocks that we've seen pop up in the last few weeks, have made 30-40% moves, and then immediately pulled back at least 50% of them. Like, it's just it's crazy how fast they've been pulling. I mean, like just like today, right? So we had APOP move up to $8, and then come all the way down to $4. So it halved. ENOB popped up early this morning, up to $5.92. Now it's sitting at 4.30. IMMP, IMMP actually was looking really nice in the morning, and it hasn't pulled back too much, but it's pulled back a pretty significant amount. This would need to put in some serious work to come back up and look strong again. PIRS, one that we were watching here, another one popped up to 464 within the first 2 minutes of it coming up on news. Now it's sitting at $2.92. Same thing with BKYI. It's the same story for all these stocks. And then the last two that we saw come up, BIMI and SINO. BIMI, 1 minute, popped up, sold off to lower than it was before. And then we got SINO, which we just looked at. Came up from $7 to nearly $9 and pulled it back in essentially a straight line. So it looks like shorting has definitely been the way to go as of late. So if you guys have the ability to short stuff, I recommend you strongly consider it. Stops holding it. GameStop also a little bit affected by the market here, trending down similarly to what we saw the SPY doing. See if we can hold these levels today. Like I said, looking for a bounce on it. If we don't get a bounce on it, maybe we'll try to short it down through $100 if it pushes down. For anyone new in the chat, check out oliveguardians.com. It's when I pull all of stocks I trade throughout the day off of. I run it all day, so feel free to use it at any point. What's going on? IMMP, I feel like still, the one to watch, although definitely questionable whether or not it's going to make a move back up. But it's really the one that looks like it has the closest shot of doing so. I know I looked at it on the daily. Looked at it on the daily earlier today, but it was above most of the most of the recent highs. I just don't know why it turned around so hard coming into 420 there. Pretty much all of the indicators were looking like it was looking really strong, and then the thing just turned around and sold off hard. Got this day back here, December, popped up from $1 to $8, traded nearly 300 million shares of volume. Pretty insane move. Good call, dude. I wish I could go back to bed. Yeah, I would say between now and 9 o'clock, I don't really foresee anything anything that we've been watching coming back up and showing strength. There's always the opportunity for something to pop up on the scanners, but we haven't really seen anything too exciting this morning. I was looking at IMMP earlier before CYTH popped up on the scanners, but I feel like I missed out on some opportunity here. So we were watching it, but it was trading lower volume when it first popped up. The first couple candles were just about 50,000 shares of volume on the 1 minute candles, which isn't anything too overwhelming, especially for IMMP, which is a 60 million share float. So usually if the float is higher like that, you want to see more, like way more significant volume to actually get the price action that you want in this stock. But then as we were coming into 740, it popped up on higher volume here. And then, the obvious place to buy, well, be fair, the obvious place to buy is buying over 389 on this one candle, which then ended up pulling back quite a bit. But buying above 386, great here. And I did get chopped out a little bit on this candle. But I bought coming up into here, and then we bought again coming up into $4. But yeah, I just got absolutely wrecked on these candles here. I'm wondering if I should have prioritized taking a little bit more profit off the top. I was considering it as it was coming back down, but the low float market has been generally good this week, so I was hoping that we'd see some continuation back up. Next time we take a trade, if we're coming into highs like that, maybe we'll err on the side of caution. So if we see it start turning around, we'll take some profit off quick, and then we'll keep our stop a little bit tighter on the downside. So a little bit sloppy on that trade, definitely. When we saw this really big selling coming in, probably should have cut the trade quicker as well. Maybe as it came down through my cost basis. But I wanted to give it a second to see if it was going to turn around. But definitely some things to work on there. Kind of a not a spectacular trade I made. Keep those things in mind coming into the rest of the day as well as coming into tomorrow. That maybe take the profit when we have it, and don't wait for some of these bigger moves that we saw earlier this week. I need to get better at switching between modes, you know, because I'll get into the mode where it's like, all right, I'll take the profit when I got it, and I'll cut stuff early, and then I always end up losing out when the market sentiment switches to making more like big grinding moves that are just like continuously going higher. Like if we look at SPRT here, so SPRT was one that popped up a few days ago. Starting at 6 o'clock, I obviously started trading at 7 o'clock here, and I took some trades on it, but um, I feel like I cut a lot of the profit I could have made pretty early, instead of just like buying and then holding through all of this because it wasn't really putting in too much of a pullback anywhere. But whenever it was hitting highs and then it started dipping a tiny bit, I was like, maybe be a little bit more careful, take off the profit that I have. But then, it just ended up grinding higher and higher and higher. So missed out on the opportunity there, and now I've switched over to looking for a move like this because the market has been a little bit better. And then I just got wrecked on this last trade that we made on IMMP. So I need to get better at switching and kind of recognizing what mode that I should be in when I'm trading some of the stocks. I think it's just an experience thing. I think once I get a few more 100 hours of trading under my belt, maybe I'll be better at recognizing when the stocks are looking super super strong like that, and I should just be in, as opposed to being able to recognize whether or not this is going to turn around quick and then bailing out. IMMP similarly not really doing much. So chilling right now. Like I said, if you guys ever got stocks that you think are looking decent on the morning, the scanners that I'm looking at pretty much only have things that are popping up on like significant volume and significant moves. So I miss a lot of those stocks. Like sometimes a lot of people trade higher float stocks that move a little bit more sane. So if stuff's coming up on news, a higher float stock might expect a move of 3 to 5% if the news is really good or something like that, as opposed to these low floats that news pops up, all of a sudden they spike up 50% before anyone even really knows what the news is. And then they kind of just readjust afterwards. But sometimes it's better for those higher float stocks because they trade a little bit more sane than low float stocks. They don't have this like super crazy volatility where you can just like buy in and then all of a sudden it spikes down 50 cents, you know. So if anyone ever sees anything good that they think is trading pretty well, let me know. At least take a look at it and see if I agree. Yeah, because right now we just got nothing going. Check CYTH, that had popped up at some point today, but yeah, it's just pulled back. Really light volume. Not really too much going on with it. I was really hoping SINO would resolve into something here. It's had a few good days in the recent past, so it definitely has the opportunity to move up. And it seems like it's starting to get this little bit of a trend up now. We'll see if it comes back above VWAP. But I'm not gonna hold my breath on this. This might just be the little bit of a bounce before it comes back down to its original levels. Definitely worth watching. If I had shares to short on this, I'd consider shorting it down past $7.50. I probably wouldn't buy this unless it came back up and retested VWAP and showed that it was going to be strong. But maybe one to just keep an eye on. If we come into 9 o'clock and it does start coming up on volume and people are buying it, maybe one that could pop up. There was SINO, BIMI is just completely dead. It didn't even move up very much to begin with. Everything else getting really, really rough. Really hard out here today. See if SPY has recovered at all. Um, so I would say this doesn't look spectacular. So push down pretty hard between 7 and 8 o'clock. Then a little bit of consolidation, then broke down through consolidation, which is never what you want. And on high volume. So we will see how this ends today, or this ends up today. I feel like GME usually like inverses the overall market. So if the market starts going down, GME might go back up. Should be cool. If we see the market start rallying, then maybe we'll see GME drop through 100. Take a short trade on it down through there. So I'm fine with both of these scenarios. But yeah, the market dropping obviously just seems to have killed off this low float market for this morning at the very least. Really not a ton of enthusiasm buying into some of these stocks. There's essentially no staying power. Looks like there's just like the initial bot hit where pops up between 10 and 30%, and then people are just relentlessly shorting it into the ground, which is probably a great strategy at the moment. But like I said, very difficult to get shares to short on Thinkorswim. They do have them available for some stocks, but the vast majority of them they don't. And like these low float stocks that are just like no name stocks that are popping up on news, it's just extremely unlikely that they have shares to short of them. I don't think I've actually ever seen one of these stocks that I trade in the morning have shares available to short on Thinkorswim. So that's what we're dealing with. Getting closer to 9 o'clock. We got 5 minutes coming in here. Hopefully, we'll get some stuff to pop up at 9 o'clock. If we don't get anything popping up at 9 o'clock, yeah, I'll probably cut the stream a little early. Just because if nothing comes up on news at 9 o'clock, the way that these stocks are moving at the moment, I have no hope for any of them to come back up, to be honest. It's just looking very, very weak at the moment. Once IMMP folded over, I mean, it's been looking rough since then. Pretty unfortunate. Really, yeah. You need like I don't know. You need like a more legitimate trading platform. So I have a Lightspeed account. Lightspeed often has shorts available or shares available to short. Look real quick. So it doesn't have shares available to short on IMMP right now, but it has locates. So like when you there's a bunch of brokers that even if they don't have shares easily borrowable, you can locate shares to borrow, and it costs you a premium, but you can get those shares to short if you really think that it's going to be going down a significant amount. Um, yeah, Interactive Brokers I think has a decent amount of shares that it allows you to short. Like I said, Lightspeed definitely. Um, but yeah, a lot of those brokers that have commissions and also direct access to the ECNs or whatever, usually are better at having shares to short than the brokers that have no fees. So that's what I would recommend. Um, but then it's like it's usually not worth it to have a trading account like that unless you've been trading for a while, because the fees really kill you, the commissions on the trades. So on my Lightspeed account, like my goal is to like break even or make money. But you know, pretty much every morning that I make money, I'm losing a pretty significant amount of it in commissions. Uh, so yeah, it's just something to be aware of. It does give you a little bit more opportunity to make trades because you can short, but also you're paying money for that opportunity, especially if you're using locates to get your shares, because then you're going to be paying a premium just to have those shares. So if you lose money on your trades and also you paid for the locates and you're paying for your commissions, you might end up losing like significantly more than you think you would have just from the trades. So I would say until more comfortable, trading, it's better to just have like commission free trading and just not worrying about shorts. Um, like you can like paper trade the shorts, or like trade in your head and be like, if I was shorting, I would short here, and then like this is my exit point, this is my profit target, stuff like that. Until you actually work up the experience to get on one of these other brokers that pay commissions. A lot of those other brokers, you also have to pay like a fee for their trading platform, but they essentially like subsidize the fee for the trading platform by being like, it costs like $100 a month for the trading platform, but um, we'll subtract out the commissions down to like $10 or something. So if you make enough trades, the trading platform doesn't really cost very much, but then you're essentially just paying back for the trading platform and commissions. Same deal either way. All right, so coming in at 9 o'clock right now. Let's see. Let's see if we can get something to pop up on some news. 9 o'clock. Keep your eyes on those scanners. Nothing popping up yet. As far as stocks that we're watching, like I said, we're kind of watching IMMP, but doesn't really look like it's doing too much. SINO, previously we were looking at this and I said this might be like the last bounce before it starts coming back down again. It looks like it is coming back down again. So I'd say I'm not super, I don't think that this thing is going to start coming back up really. Volume is essentially dead on it. And so we just got through the first minute at 9 o'clock here. Nothing really coming up on news. So this is going to be one of those mornings at the open. Just going to wait, see if anything comes up on momentum. I would say that the obvious one for me to watch this morning is GME. Just because, it made a over $40, $50, $60 move down yesterday. So we might get a bounce today, or we might get a continuation of that move back through $100. So both great opportunities. So that's going to be the one I'm watching today. There's literally no low float stocks that I'm watching currently. They've all pulled back so significantly. I don't think they're going to make a move today. IMMP is the one that's like closest, and it still looks terrible. It's been trending down since 7:45. So that's the game plan for today. I'm just gonna watch GME, and I'm gonna watch my scanners and see if we get anything popping up on momentum. But besides that, I don't really have anything else I'm watching coming into the open. So sad to see. We'll see if maybe the market turns around today. We'll get some better trading tomorrow. But good luck trading, everyone. Hope everyone makes money today. Guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.